Hi guys, it's me, Pringus McDingus. This is going to be a different kind of video because around last week I hit around 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, and currently that number has grown up to around 14,000, which is pretty crazy. So for this video I took to YouTube and Twitter to ask you guys to ask me anything, and I'll be answering some. I probably won't be answering every single question that people ask me. Maybe I might make a part 2, but I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes. Anyway, also I just wanted to clear the air before I start. Daisy's having a brain freeze in that scene, not a seizure or a stroke or anything. I just wanted to make that clear and get that out there. I'm sorry if I didn't make it obvious, but she's just having a brain freeze in that scene, that's all. Did you do all your animations by yourself? Well, pretty much yeah. Everything that goes from the storyboarding to the sketching to the roughs and to the final line art and colors and shading, that's pretty much all me. Sometimes I ask some of my friends and the people that I know if they could draw some backgrounds for me, mainly because I suck at making backgrounds, so I ask them for help. And whenever they do, it's always awesome, and I always appreciate their help. It's pretty obvious which backgrounds are mine and which aren't, because the ones that aren't mine are actually good. What are your artistic influences? What kind of media did you grow up with, and which one of those left the biggest impact on you as a kid? Well, 4 main things: video games, cartoons, movies, and anime. Mostly the first two. I grew up watching cartoons ever since I was a wee little boy, and I also played video games around that same age. It's pretty much every time I wasn't watching cartoons as a kid, I was playing video games, and whenever I wasn't playing video games, I was watching cartoons, and vice versa. I guess when it comes to artistic influences, like if you're talking about specific people, the people that I can think off the top of my head right now are people like Hanna-Barbera. Like, I love Tom and Jerry, the Jetsons, Scooby-Doo, everything that they do. Their comedic timing, the backgrounds that they do, it's just so awe-inspiring, and I would always watch them, and I would always laugh, and pretty much, yeah. What are the basics for making a good animation? You know what, there's a lot of videos on YouTube that probably can explain it better than me, but the one thing that I always point to in making good animation is the practice of the principles of animation, namely the 12 principles of animation. You practice these, and you nail these, and your animations are gonna look real solid. There's a great video series by Alan Becker covering the 12 principles of animation, and I suggest you check it out, and I suggest you go check him out because he is awesome, and you'll probably learn a lot from him. I also highly recommend the Animator Survival Kit. This thing is an essential read, and it's pretty much the holy bible for animators. If you want to learn about animation, or if there's a question that you want to know, or if you want to learn about a certain principle, it'll all be there. Boxers or briefs? Boxers! Due on making anything huge like a 5-minute animation or even a series. It's funny you mentioned that. I've got some projects planned that I can't really show right now, but I do plan to make some original animation shorts. It's still very early in production, meaning I still have yet to storyboard, but I am planning something, and it's something very special. Here's a sneak peek for all you gals and guys out there. What inspired you to do the Daisy animation? Okay, so there's this Twitter user called Cartase? I'm so sorry if I pronounced that wrong. This user posted a video on Twitter basically showcasing Daisy's voices. So I saw that and I just literally thought, yeah, that would be fun to animate. And so I did, and now here we are. So thank you to Cartase. What cartoons is your favorite / like? Also cartoons that you hated and right now. The two that I can think of from the top of my head that I watched religiously when I was a kid are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Transformers. I fucking love these cartoons, and I love these properties. These guys are what made my childhood. I remember sitting in front of my old CRT TV, popping in that VHS tape, and watch the episodes over and over and over again. And I love how they're still relevant to this day. Even the recent TV shows have been pretty good. Transformers Prime and Cyberverse, the 2012 Ninja Turtles series, and Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Other cartoons I really loved are Avatar: The Last Airbender, SpongeBob, obviously, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Rugrats, Ren and Stimpy. I could go on forever. For cartoons that I hated, I can't really think of any, well, maybe except for one. Captain Planet and the Planeteers. Now, I'm not saying this show is bad, far from it. The show is alright and it's pretty educational for kids, because it was the only cartoon that was available on my family TV's cable that wasn't the news or crappy educational shows. So pretty much every morning, I would always watch Captain Planet, talk about how bad pollution is, and I would watch all these weird kids running around and trying to do something, and then they fail, but then they summon Captain Planet anyways, and then he gets his ass kicked, and then he oh, and that damn song, it always got stuck in my head. Captain Planet is a hero, gonna take pollution down to zero. Who's tour favorite animator, and which program do you use to make in the background? So, well, to answer the second question, I mostly use Photoshop, and to answer the first one, I guess one of the people that I can think of off the bat right now is James Baxter.
James Baxter!
This dude has been in the animation industry for God knows how long, and he is just amazing. I encourage you to look up I encourage you to look up all of his animation. He's done stuff for Steven Universe, he's done stuff for Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, and oh god, he's just so What is your favorite game and who is your favorite character in that game? I love your Hi, I'm Daisy video, best video one I've ever watched. Well, first of all, thank you, Brandon. And second of all, you can probably tell by the music that's playing in the background right now, but I am a PlayStation guy. PlayStation 1 guy, to be specific. I would have to say two of my favorite video game franchises of all time would have to be Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon. I can play any of these 6 games, and I would have a blast doing it. I spent countless hours trying to 100% each of these games. They're both fun and challenging and just a great game series altogether. And having them remastered with today's graphics and gameplay styles is just so beautiful. Who's your favorite Mario characters? Well, you know, I think it's kind of obvious at this point. Do you have any favorite Pokemon? I do, actually. I have 3. It would have to be Blaziken, Blastoise, and Scizor. I mean, Blaziken, he's a fucking fighting spicy chicken. What more could you add? But honestly, I just thought this guy looked really cool. And plus, Pokemon Ruby was my first ever Pokemon game. So there's a little bit of bias there. Blastoise, because I fucking love turtles, and I love the dumb hydro cannons that he pops out of his shell. It looks so stupid, but so cool at the same time. And Scizor, because I just love this guy's design. I mean, he's a steel bug, and he has scissors for hands. I guess I just like all of these Pokemon because they look cool. And I love that all 3 of them are in Pokken Tournament. I love fighting games, so that's just beautiful to me. Favorite video that you animated? Well, I mean, besides the Daisy animation, there was this little animation that I made of Mega Man versus Robot Boy. And it's sort of an experimental video that I just had a lot of fun with. It's a fight animation that I'm not even done with. I just started making it and I just put it down and held off for a year. But I always wanted to make an animated fight scene, but I really enjoyed and I really hope that I could finish one day. Do you have games and your first video game and console? I am a PlayStation guy, namely a PlayStation 1. I fucking love this thing. This was my childhood. I didn't have a Nintendo 64, I didn't have a GameCube, I had the Sony PlayStation. But it actually wasn't my first video game console. That would have to be the Sega Genesis. And I got this around 2000, way when the PlayStation was already out. I think the first ever video game that I ever played was Sonic 3 and Knuckles or Bubsy. But I technically count the PlayStation as my first ever video game console because that is the console that I have the most memories with, the most fun playing video games, and it's just I just love this. I just remember playing video games like fucking Crash Bandicoot 1, 2, 3, Spyro 1, 2, 3, Tekken 2, Tekken 3, Croc, Tombi, Klonoa. Oh god, it's just yes. Now this is a common question that I get asked a lot. What made you begin animation? Or why did you start becoming an animator? Or stuff like that. Yeah, I'm gonna say something that maybe a lot of animators tend to say. Animation wasn't my first choice. Now, I'm not saying that every animator thought this. I'm just saying that the majority of people that I met in real life, that at first, they wanted to take something else, but then got introduced or pulled back into the animation interest later. Me, I'm the same way. Long story short, I wanted to take film, ever since I was in middle school. I would always draw when I was a kid, but I never really took it seriously. I just saw it as something that I would do while I'm waiting for my mom, or whenever I'm just bored, and I would just pick up a pencil and start drawing. Around junior year high school, I visited colleges, namely in Canada, and there were programs that had animation, and I saw all these people making these amazing animation shorts and like all the processing and all this stuff, and I just thought, man, I really want to do this. So during that time, I changed my pursuit from filmmaking to animation, and now here I am. And I guess that'll do it for now on this, first episode of Q&A with Pringus McDingus. I'll probably make another one because there's a lot of questions that people ask me that I didn't get to answer in this video, but I really want to. But at the same time, I don't really want to make these videos too long, but also, I guess it all depends on you guys, whether or not you guys mind a longer video, so, I don't know, let me know. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and thank you all again for the 10,000 subscribers. I cannot thank you guys enough. I honestly didn't expect this much positive feedback, but I am all the more grateful for it, and thank you. And I love you. I love every one of you. Every single one of you. But before I end this video, I think I need to answer one more question. One very important question that's been on my mind, lingering for years, and I think I'm finally ready to answer it.
You like jazz?
Yeah,